So November and the beginning of the coldest months of the year kicked off with quite a few interesting films. So yeah, let's dive into this fun month. November's Sunday, Friday night film nights kicked off with an actual classic movie. That being Blade Runner, the Ridley Scott classic where Harrison Ford bums about murdering escaped slaves and then essentially bullies an indentured servant into sleeping with him before kidnapping her. Or something like that. Anyway, absolutely great film, love it. 4 out of 5 because, to be honest, these days I do find some sections of it run a little bit slow, and to be honest I think the sequel is a lot better. But yeah, anyway, still a brilliant movie. Next up for film night was the massively super meta Nicolas Cage comedy, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Here, failing actor Nick Cage, who's literally Nicolas Cage, gets hired for $1 million to turn up to this dude's birthday party, which also turns out to be a plot to get him to read the guy's screenplay. Although once he's there, they actually start to bond, but then the CIA arrive and are like, by the way, cartel, work undercover please, so he does, and from there it just gets more and more bonkers. And this is genuinely a really fun film, with Cage absolutely playing up his imagined persona and Pedro Pascal doing a pretty fun job as kind of a is he a baddie, is he not job. So again, 4 out of 5 for this. I had an awful lot of fun with it, and yeah, this is a recommended movie, unlike that god-awful Wicker Man remake, which Nicolas Cage frankly should be put in a home for. A movie I caught on Disney Plus this month was the Wes Anderson animated movie Isle of Dogs. Get it? I love dogs. I love dogs. Anyway, this is a stop-motion movie just like the Fantastic Mr. Fox, set in a future where the Japanese government outlaws dogs, saying they've got a nasty bad virus, because they're all secretly cat lovers, and it dumps them on an island made of litter, and then, anyway, this adopted son of the guy who set up the scheme runs off to find his own pet dog, leading to a load of wacky adventures and a lot of fun. And it's all shot in a very classic Wes Anderson style. Now, yeah, if you know the channel, you'll know that I love Wes Anderson movies, and this is no different. 4 out of 5, lots of fun, lots of laughs, maybe not his best work, but definitely well worth your time. It's been a while since I saw something that was really truly bleak and dark on this channel, and The Stranger on Netflix managed that. Now, not to be confused with the UK TV series on Netflix that is also called The Stranger, which is also pretty decent, but this is an Australian story about a massive undercover sting operation where Uncle Owen of Star Wars has to pretend to be a low-level gangster while the bad guy from Mission Impossible is a sort of secretive man that he brings into the fold of crime. But why? Why is he doing this? What did the guy do? What are they trying to get to the mystery of? And that's kind of what the film's about, as it slowly unspools as we feel this creeping sense of unease grow as these men bond in a kind of weird and uncomfortable way. And yeah, this is a solid 4 out of 5. It's really well shot and edited and feels kind of a piece with moody, weird Australian outback cinema classics. So yeah, check this one out, definitely. Also on Disney Plus, I was catching up on some older best Pixar movies, and I saw Big Hero 6, which is a film that kind of surprised me because it starts out sort of like a coming-of-age story that has big whiffs of Stand By Me, only then halfway through it turns into a sort of Captain Planet-esque superhero YA fantasy show. Now, it's not really my kind of thing. I did enjoy it for what it is. It's a solid 3 out of 5, a fun, animated movie with some moving moments, a few twists in the story that made it interesting, but to be honest, nothing out of the ordinary and nothing spectacular. Now, you remember The Lobster from a couple of months back? Well, I watched another movie by the same filmmaker called The Killing of a Sacred Deer, and this is also another bizarre movie starring Colin Farrell, only this time he's a doctor who's befriended the son of a man who died on the operating table he was working at. But this boy has hatched a weird scheme needing vengeance against his family, and one by one, Colin Farrell's kids start growing really ill and nearing death, and the boy tells him that unless Farrell chooses one of them to sacrifice, his whole family will die. And it's kind of bizarre, especially as most of it seems to be set in the real normal world, a bit like the weird cultural dystopia of The Lobster, but there's sort of a mythological element as the story references the myth of Iphigenia, the daughter of Agamemnon, a few times, and the whole point about she was doomed to die because her dad slaughtered a sacred deer, hence the title. And yeah, it's not really as good as The Favourite or The Lobster, and it isn't a film I'd rush back to rewatch, but I would give it a solid 3 out of 5 and say it's really well put together, and it's certainly an interesting one if nothing else, and well acted. A bit of a more obscure film that I saw was an Italian movie on Prime called Non ti muovere, or Don't Move. And this was a strange and sometimes creepy, bit offbeat love story about an Italian surgeon who one day, kind of fueled up by stress, too much vodka and a heat wave, ends up sexually assaulting a woman who tries to help him out. Only, after that he becomes obsessed with her and keeps coming back for more, and they fall in love. I mean, yeah, that sounds weird, but in a strange way it kind of works, and it's sort of a oddly beautiful story of really broken people finding each other and trying to make the best of a really warped and doomed situation, clinging on to each other for dear life. And it's based on this book, and the film's main actor, who's also the director, Sergio Castellitto, who was the king in Prince Caspian, if you remember that, he's actually also the real-life husband of the woman who wrote the book. So, I mean, well, there you go. And he's absolutely fantastic, and so is Penelope Cruz, who manages to look really ugly in this a lot of the time, which is kind of a testament to the makeup department considering how pretty she is in real life. And yeah, this film is 100% not going to be for everybody. I mean, honestly, I'm not sure exactly who this would appeal to, but I kind of feel like it might appeal to people who like Outlander, because there's a similar vibe to some of the darker, more tragic stuff that's in that show. So yeah, I mean, this is a 5 out of 5 for me, and a definite recommendation. And as seems to be the case for this year, I only managed one movie at the cinema this month. That was Barbarian. Now, this is a really unusual film because in part it's a movie that's best enjoyed if you know absolutely nothing about it. So I'll say here, 4 out of 5, check it out if I was you. And I think it's actually now out on Disney Plus, so you can probably find it there. So yeah, I mean, maybe just skip to the end of the video. Anyway, mild spoilers if you fancy a proper review. It's a movie about two people who find out they've been double booked in the same Airbnb in a weird part of Chicago. And the first act of the movie is just sheer smart, well-acted and written tension as these two likeable people chat and get to know each other, but there's an awkwardness and there's too many unknown factors to keep the audience from being comfortable with this little meet-cute because you're worried one of them's going to do something to the other one, and then something unexpected happens, and I literally won't say anything else because whatever you're imagining happening, it's something different. And yeah, as I said, 4 out of 5, a brilliant horror romp, and really good fun if you approach it with an open mind and are willing to just run with the craziness that happens. So that was November, the tail end of the year, approaching fast, and yeah, I saw some good things. Now, as I said, I'm just tying up these last couple of videos. I know that it is now February by the time that you're hearing this, and I'm planning to get December out as soon as I can. So till next time, these have been my grumpy opinions.